Hello, everyone. From closed fists, holding on tight, to letting go. Hi, my name is aLex Levin, and we're on Sun and Moon Yoga Studios YouTube page for my weekly offering of a practice, a short practice. It's been a half hour usually. I might try to make it a little shorter, maybe for the summer season, or maybe for forever. Everything's going shorter. My hair's going shorter. Anyhow, today I'm going to start with movement and have some space that you can spread out on the ground. You could do this sitting, could do it on a bed. Lying down on your back is where we're going to start. And I'm just want to say I'm so grateful for everyone who joins me for this practice. It's a joy and a nourishment for me to do it. And if you're there, it's really helpful for me to know that my sound is good and that you can hear me, etc. So I want to change it around to do the movement first. We'll ground and do movement. Usually I have done a centering, a little theme, and then the movement. But I want to jump right into the movement, change it up a little bit. And after all that, we'll meditate, be still together. So let's get to it. Tip my camera a little. I've got near me something to cover up if I'm chilly. That's always good. I shift temperature a lot. Maybe that's not true for you, but especially as I'm quiet and still. I've got supports for sitting, for the sitting practice. I've got a bell here and my timer. All right, let's start. So you can either start with knees bent, leaning against each other, or you can stretch your legs out. I'll start with the knees bent version first. And let's just arrive together here. How are you doing today? You might check in with yourself right now. And as we take this position laying on the ground, after you've checked in with how you're doing today, no hurry. Let yourself feel the way your body knows the ground is here. And all the while during this practice where we slow down and relax, it actually offers an opportunity for things that have been quiet, things that have been hidden, that have been dormant, to maybe feel a little like they're safe. It's safe. They've got some space to come out to the light of our consciousness. So all that is to say that sometimes as we get quiet, we begin to notice the places that are uncomfortable, not just physically, but emotionally, psychologically. We begin to notice the obvious onslaught of our pattern thinking. That's not so hidden usually. And as we practice this relaxed presence, stillness more and more, we start to learn to be with whatever arises, however uncomfortable it is. Just be there. It's not that we have to do anything with it. As I feel this sort of knot in my right shoulder blade area, relax. And you can narrate for yourself where you're feeling parts of you relax, where you might feel tensions coming in, where you feel images or thoughts or stories coming in. it's very natural for us to narrate that, and even then maybe notice a tightening that happens maybe in just the musculature of the face somewhere, or the jaw, or the shoulders. And let's take a few more moments noticing that with the feel of the ground, the particular textures under the feet, under the lower legs, the upper legs, the pelvis, each one different. With that feeling, the body, that solidity, the body may be getting more and more of the cue that it can relax. We begin to notice our breath, the light spaces, the buoyant spaces that the breath opens up, perhaps right at in the lower ribs a little more as we're lying down. The back body. Titled today's practice, Letting Go. Common phrase. I'd like it to be something a little more accurate to what I'm thinking. And what I'm thinking as it's just come to me, it's a little bit more like let go and let God. It's a phrase the 12-step programs like to use. And the word God doesn't work for all of us. You could substitute it. Let go and let be, let go and but let something that is bigger than the idea we have of ourselves, let that come in, let that stream in. Thus the gesture of opening the fists of our idea of ourselves. Maybe that's a better title. So ground, breath. And now tune in to the sounds around you, within you. Notice how your body responds as you're listening in this way. All of a sudden, the idea of thank you is coming to me. I woke up remembering that I haven't done my gratitude practice in a while. I like to let that be the first thing I do in the morning. The first thing that happens is, well, to be truthful, I usually go to the bathroom. And I come back to bed for at least a moment. Or maybe it's right before I go to the bathroom. It's usually some concern of the day or some feel of the body, uncomfortable one is reporting itself. Something usually somewhat daunting. And this morning I remembered, gratitude practice. Just to list one thing, 2 or 3 things that, or more, that I feel grateful for. Just to awaken that part of my mind. It's one of the tools of connecting with something larger than ourselves. All right, slowly slide the legs. So, just one leg, knee is bent. Let's go with whichever one you want. I'll go with this one. One knee is bent, the other long. We'll do that a few times. What happened in your body to allow you to do that? Something needs to push down, something needs to slide, something needs to contract. Maybe it's more we can look at what needs to open, what needs to flow, to allow movement to happen rather than the idea of contracting. Contracting happens, it's a thing. But the way we contract can be more flowy. Alrighty, still with me? So from here, by the way, listen again to sounds for a moment. Around you, coming to you. Notice how the body feels as you're listening, feeling tones. And notice the inside and outside continuity of listening. So let's let the weight in the pelvis shift to the hips in the side of the long leg. So just roll the pelvis so the side of the bent leg lifts a tiny bit, barely on weights, still touching the ground. It just sort of rolls. It rolls to be a little heavier. It's a tiny movement is enough. And then pausing there, release back onto the more even weight, but it's a little different than symmetrically because of the bent knee. And pause and then roll again. Breathing and allowing this to be as light and easy as possible. So like with 4-part breathing, which I'll explain in a moment, let's make this a 4-part. There's a roll to the side, there's a pause, and then the roll back to center. And I'm not even sure if you're watching, the movement might be so imperceptible. My pelvis rolling. Allow your eyes to relax and allow the aperture of your attention to be just wide open. So it can both see the very particular, but also take in all of what's around you, all of what's coming in, thoughts, images, feelings, sensations. It's no problem. And maybe go quicker. Just jiggle like, how can this be easy? Just a few times and let it go. What's different? What's new? What's fresh? Really answer that. Let your body and being know you're listening. Seeing what's fresh, that's often what we kind of notice what's usual. We go there and we go toward what hurts, and that's very valuable evolutionarily. We're in danger to know that. But for a lot of the time, we're not actually in danger. We might just notice how that's true. Celebrate that ease. Okay, so now bend the other leg. Times and release. Just this movement is a fantastic mini movement to explore. How do we get there? How do you let this happen just so easily? And this I really needed on this side. I kind of jammed something here yesterday. So when you're ready, just lift a tiny bit, that hip pelvis side attached to the bent leg. And let it go with a pause. When you get there, when you lift, pause, lower, pause. And you might pair this with breathing. So 4-part breath is breath in. I'm going to breathe in as I lift. Sink the other hip heavier. Pause. Breathe out and pause. So the movement and breath syncing together. And it can be the opposite way. You can be exhaling as you lift. Now, if I was to mechanically describe what's happening, it's one way of doing it, the way my body's doing it. I could do this a little differently. the roll in the pelvis can be a little more forward or down instead of up and back. And so there are always several ways of moving around especially our circular joints. Go even slower for 1 or 2 breaths. And then if you'd like, you can go fast. I'm choosing not to. Just to stop, pause, and really feel. You may be like me, you're sensing a shift that's pretty big. There's a shift in my energy that's pretty big. It's very vague. How can I be more specific? And this is part of the practice, accuracy. Let the leg goes flat. The feeling is spacious, quiet, interconnectedness. Parts inside are connected. Now you may choose to stay there. I'm going to come up for guidance purposes up to sitting, but you might choose to stay where you are a little bit longer. And slowly, when you are ready, you could stay where you are for our stillness part, or you could come up to sitting. Move slowly, if you're moving, as you settle toward the next phase of our practice. So you might have stayed in your lying down position. You might have rolled to your side. You might come up to sitting as I have. And let yourself keep reporting, noticing the reports from your body, from your mind, from your heart. So part of my inspiration for today is opening the fist of the idea of ourself. It came from an aha moment this week. Don't we love those aha moments? Where I had a palpable feeling of trusting more, of opening to that part of myself, bigger than myself, that higher power, God, awareness, whatever you call it, presence. A palpable feeling that was beyond the speaking of, oh, let it go, but the feel of that surrender necessary to actually allow awareness, creativity, life, being to help me. And I'm a person who, maybe you're like this, or maybe just a little, or maybe a lot like I am. I have a strong need, a feel of wanting to control things. So maybe this is useful for you to ponder as well as we move toward the stillness portion of our program, of our practice together. So once again, we can use those same pointers I used at the beginning for arriving. Ground, sound, ground breath was the second, and sound. Noticing the touch of the body to the ground. And just making any last minute adjustments to make sure your seat is comfortable for our, let's say 8 minutes. Let's say 8 minutes sitting together. Or lying down. Stillness, silence. And you can lean into any technique that you need, any tool as we practice here together to help you come back to just this place here. You can come back anytime saying here from the poem Lost. I don't know if the bell will come across well, but let us begin our short meditation together. As Russell, my teacher, says, have a good journey. Feel free to relax a little more, even if you feel like you're bordering on slouching. We can let our bodies and our amazing nervous system be be a guide, an informant of what it's like to feel peace, no conflict. I'm reminded, listening to Eric Schiffman on Instagram, that presence, the marker that we know that we're aligned with presence and not opening out of the smallness of our idea of ourself, is that we feel peaceful, unconflicted inside. Even as thoughts that seem so agitating come in, maybe you have a few of those. It's not that you ignore them or just discount them. They are a valuable, valuable part of ourselves. But they're not everything. They're not everything by any means. Relaxed a little bit more across the forehead, along the tops of the shoulders. base of the tongue. More and more becoming more intimately familiar with the feel of yourself as boundless, timeless, aware presence. Presence that is much like the space of the room you're in. That presence, the space of the room, does not prohibit anything from being in it. A bad smell, or body, or furniture, spilled water, spilled milk, loud sound, a pleasant sound. All of it is here, coming and going. And the space remains quite neutral. And yet, there is also, I'm not sure how to talk about this yet truly, but there is a benevolence also. Kindness. Maybe that's simply from allowing being. Allowing being. So a couple more breaths. So bringing our practice to a close, Notice what the transition feels like to you, what you might want to, what you feel you're naturally expressing right here and now. Perhaps gratitude to yourself, to your body, to this technology that brings us together, to knowledge that's been passed down and shared of this practice, of your own commitment to this practice, the peace that it will bring you that will ripple out like the ripples of a stone thrown into a lake out infinitely. Thank you. So sound, I don't know how the bell went, but last week, sorry about that if you were here with me, I needed to have a setting on my new generation earbuds that was different. So I think there was no sound, but I put in another little video, a short practice, so maybe you check that out. I thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day. Have a great week. I'll see you here next week. Yes. We'll be traveling pretty soon, mid-June. I'll be in Oregon, but I think I can stream from there. Maybe it'll probably be like 7 in the morning, but I'll probably do that. Thank you so much, and open the fist of a tight idea of who you are. That you are much more than that. Thank you, Mary Beth. Oh, there's Doggy. He is in the picture.